Hi, Om. This is your good pal, Dave Bronin, wishing you a very happy 32nd birthday. You know, it occurred to me that we've known each other since November of 2009. That's over 8 years. And if you do the quick math on that, 8 years is a quarter of 32 years. So we've known each other for a quarter, more than a quarter of your life. And if you look at it from your adult life, we've known each other for a huge portion, way more than half of your adult life. And there's a lot that transpired during that time. A lot of significant key events for you have happened in just these last 8+ years. So I thought it might be kind of fun to do a little bit of a retrospective about your life through the perspective that I have in knowing you. So, Om, this is going to be a video about you through that lens that I mentioned and our association since I first met you through work, and then what's evolved since then. And since over that time, I got to know you as more of a friend than a colleague. So, this is evidence of our first encounter, and it wasn't live, and it was live, but it wasn't in person, because the live part, it was real-time telepresence, but I wasn't in the same room with you. You were on the other side of the planet. You were in Bangalore, I'm in San Jose. Daytime for you, middle of the night here in San Jose area. But this is the feedback from the TIPS workshop, the Technical Instructor Presentation Skills Workshop, and this is from the practical lab or the practice teach. And you can see the date up there, November 2009. So that's evidence of when we first crossed paths. And you really did a good job. I remember as an instructor, I can tell who's taking the class seriously and wants to get the most out of it, and who's just sort of there along for the ride. And you were the former rather than the latter. So you were very committed, very devoted to getting the most out of the training, asking really thoughtful, sincere questions. And I could tell you really dedicated yourself, because when you did your practice teach, you did a really good job. And when I write comments like what you see here, where it says solid teach, very Socratic, that's an indication from my perspective that you worked really hard and you made a very sincere attempt and did a great job. And so already you're standing out in my eyes as somebody who is a person of really good character and hardworking and wants to better themselves. So that's kind of cool to be able to look back and go, oh yeah, that's where we first met. Now, time passed. That was November 2010. Now we go to, 2009, and we go to April of 2010. So about 5 months later or so. And here, the picture you see is we're at the Red Dragon restaurant. That's Manas Mutadat, Shalina Damji from Kepner Trigo, you and me. And this is a dinner that occurred during the Kepner Trigo Leader Development Institute, or LDI. So one of the key accomplishments you'd made is you'd been selected to participate in this very kind of rarefied event. Very few people get the privilege and the opportunity to participate, to have so much investment made by the company into them for this effort, because there was a lot of time off shift and a lot of economic expense being made. So Cisco thought Om is somebody we should make an investment in, and I agree with their choice, especially looking back, knowing what I know now. But even then, I thought they made a good choice. And now here is a photo from that same dinner. I call it your shoddy.com photo. And of course, it's became very well known to me short time later that you needed no online matchmaking site whatsoever, because you are destined to marry your sweetheart, Priya. And I'm getting a little ahead of things, but anyway, I still love this photo. It's a great photo of you. Now this is part of a growing portion of your cohort. Now we've got Devashri here, along with Manas and you, and then the KT person, Shalina. That's in the classroom where the LDI occurred. And here's Shalina conducting part of the LDI that she and I co-delivered for you and your cohort. And there's you just very attentively just drinking in, absorbing everything there's to learn about the methodology and how to facilitate and teach the workshop. And then here's one of the many lunches that we had together in the Cisco canteen, the cafeteria there in the Bangalore office. And there's your full cohort. So we have Satish, you, me, Devashri, Manas, and then Shalina. And we had several of these lunches together during that LDI process. And then if we fast forward from April into July, you had a few months there where you're really busy preparing for what's called your checkout teach. And here's you delivering your checkout teach, and you're killing it. You're doing a great job. And if you look at these pictures, I got a few pictures I'll cycle through here, and I can see how the class is engaged, how you're using gestures, you're really having a conversation with the class rather than like doing a presentation. And here you are working the space, you're working deep into that U formation of the classroom, and you're using polling questions. And as you look here, this guy here, I mean, look at all the hands going up, and this you can tell this guy's smiling, along with I'm sure other people are smiling, but you can just see from this profile shot, his cheeks indicate that he's smiling. So you're really engaging the group. People are following along. A lot of hands are going up. You're using a lot of good skills. And I remember I'm in the back of the room, and there's this manager, so I'm sitting with me way over in the corner. So from your side of the room, he would have been on the right side of the room in back. And a manager sitting next to me just kind of came in to kind of just see what's going on in the KT checkout, see how it's going. And I asked him, I said, how much do you think he's taught? How much experience do you think he has? And he thought, oh, it seems like he's been teaching a bit. And I was talking about you. And I said, and I asked him, would you believe this is the first time he's ever taught this workshop? And the manager was stunned. He couldn't believe that because you're doing so well. Then here's a practical activity where you're doing some coaching as we're going through one of the exercises. So you're just killing it. You're doing it like a boss, as people sometimes say. And then here's the entire class. There's you. And then over on the far side in the white shirt, there's your KT, official KT checkout person. I forget his name, but real nice guy from, I think it was Taiwan. And I want to just mention, we've got Arun Kumar, who is a manager there in the blue shirt or the dark shirt with a stripe on it. He was one of the few managers that attended the KT class, and he seemed to take a real interest in the class as you were teaching. So he will show up in one of the upcoming pictures that we have. But we didn't all just do work stuff. Although a lot of our interaction maybe originated with work, we did some fun things that had nothing to do with work. So here, you and Priya and Shane and I, we went out to a mall one day, and this is kind of a nice day out where we went to a mall. I think maybe I bought that kurta that day. I remember going to a shop with you guys, and Priya gave me a little bit of guidance on selecting a kurta. And then we also went to this temple that was right in the middle of town, right near that mall. You wouldn't know it when you're in the temple because you don't see any of that stuff from in there. But it's this outdoor temple, and we got the Shiva statue in back, and we floated those candles out, did the little offering thing on the little river they had there. So really cool day, a fun day out, and we're just getting to know each other even better. Now here we are in September of 2010, and Cisco is officially recognizing you for your certification, for your KT program leader certification, which is a big deal, kind of like earning your CCIE, as you know. And now here we are. This is in August of 2010, and there's Shane and you and me. Another visit I made out there. I was doing some fairly frequent visits for a while there. And you might remember this Guy Number 2 campaign where I was trying to do a simplified version of KT to help get some more progress with it and help have a bigger impact than having people try to apply all the very complicated KT skills. So there's the monitor doing the rolling presentation, and that's reinforcing some of the key ideas from the Guy Number 2 campaign. And then here's the pilot kind of rollout meeting that you and Shane and I participated in. And there's a lot of kind of the leader the key technical people from the TAC that are participating in this initial campaign as we're sort of spreading the word. So you're getting progressively involved in more and more significant events, more and more prominent, and a greater degree of influence within the company, which is really cool to see that as part of your growth and your accomplishments. But as along the way, we always had fun in various ways. And one day you suggested, hey, Dave, let's hop on my two-wheeler and let's go out and get some ice cream. So I remember we hopped on your two-wheeler and we buzzed down Ring Road and went to this cool little ice cream parlor that's, you know, really established ice cream shop that people like. And we got some stuff, just hung out, kind of nice August afternoon, and just got to know each other a little bit more. It was a nice way. We talked a little bit of shop and talked some other stuff. It was fun. And then we had a dinner with this, you might remember, Arun Kumar. So he attended that your checkout teach as a student. And then we have really you and Manas and Devashri. You're the three that succeeded from the KT checkout process. Sadly, Satish didn't quite earn a certification, but here you're the surviving trio. And I remember, maybe you remember this, Om. Arun, he's this kind of philosophical, intellectual guy, and I think he likes kind of a healthy debate in a friendly way. And I remember him. Now, this restaurant seemed to be sort of trying to elevate their elegance by distributing utensils, and we've had many meals together where we're just eating our hands, and even in the Cisco cafeteria. Well, I remember Arun, that sparked a conversation, and you might remember this, where Arun is talking about a Westerner who's challenging the idea. It's like, eating with your hands, isn't that kind of unsanitary? And I remember Arun holding up a spoon, and he said, and this is his argument with the person, is, you mean I'm supposed to trust the person that washed this spoon more than I'm supposed to trust the person that washed my own hand? Obviously being yourself. So I thought that was a pretty cool argument, and you might remember that. But that was part of that, one of the various memories we had together here as in the events that we shared over this past 8 years. Now, here I'm teaching, and you're teaching with me. We're teaching KT. So this is the fourth of 4 KT workshops that I've been involved in. And you had certainly been involved in this one because you're in this picture. So here's your students plus you. Kind of cool. Nice shot of you there. And then I came out on a subsequent visit. This was in 2011. So now we're fast forwarding in 2011. And I think I'd just arrived. I was probably still kind of shaking off some of the jet lag after just arriving. And we got together for a meal. And I like the spicy Andhra Pradesh style food. So we went out, had an authentic meal, and doing it the real way, eating with our hands off banana leaves. So that was a nice, one of many nice meals we shared together. And then that same trip, you and Priya, and I think that's her sister there in the teal top, invited me out to see the national park, which has this cool safari sort of environment. And so there we're on the safari bus driving, or you guys are. I guess I was taking the photo. And then there's you at one part of the park. I guess they have exhibits, and you were taking a shot of Priya and her sister there, and some random people in the park hopefully weren't blocking your photo there. Your uncle I remember that day, your uncle very graciously lent you the use of his Subaru car, which made it really helpful because we had a bit of a road trip to get out to that park. And, on my bucket list was to say that I'd driven on the roads of India on the left side of the road, which I'm not accustomed to, in the characteristic, let's say kind of adventurous or exciting driving style that you find in India. So you helped me with my bucket list. So you let me get behind the wheel of your uncle's car, and thankfully we all had good fun, and we all lived to talk about it. But at the end of that, you had to get some medicine, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was pain reliever, and it could very well have been for all the distress that I caused, some mental distress by taking people under my own hand here and driving the car and putting them at risk. So I'm glad everybody came out of it unscathed, and it was a good memory. Now, that picture, this last picture, is from April 2011. This next picture takes us to August 2016, so more than 5 years. So consider all that happened in those 5 years. Now, there's going to be more than I'm going to know about or be able to recall here, and I'll try to get it in order, but I know that you got married back in India, and that was no trivial process because you had to overcome a certain obstacle, which was there was a certain parent that you needed to convince that this wedding, this marriage pair up with you and Priya was good. And so well done, you persevered and that came through, so therefore you get married. You moved to the United States, you moved to San Jose. You and Priya became parents, so Aru was born there. I remember going to the puja to celebrate her birth. Somewhere in the mix, I think back while you were in India, you made that trip to Oslo, Norway and taught KT, a really key milestone. I remember talking with you prior to that, and that opportunity came your way. That was really exciting. You moved to North Carolina. I don't know if I mentioned already, but you got your CCIE in the mix here, probably close to the time you got married back in India. You moved to RTP, and then you and Priya became homeowners. So now you, Priya, and Aru are living in this nice home that you guys have made together in the RTP area. And if that wasn't enough, you got nominated and then selected as a candidate, the EBT co-trainer candidate for the certification process. So here in this picture is you, Craig Cooper from Sydney, and Kuba from Krakow in EBT University #1. So the first evidence-based troubleshooting university in San Jose, California. So you came from RTP for this. Now, this picture has your entire cohort in it, which I thought would be kind of fun for you to see this, kind of take you back to that time. And this is everybody interviewing each other. So you might remember I wanted, instead of having people introduce themselves to the group, I thought it'd be good for you guys to get to know each other even better by having people pair up with somebody from another country. Then you each would interview the other person and then introduce the other person to the class. So here we have Chris Meyer from RTP, so he's part of your little posse of two. There's Mateusz Kuriansky from Krakow. Over my shoulder is Craig Cooper wearing the dark shirt, and he's being interviewed, and he's from Sydney. He's being interviewed by Carmen from Mexico City. Behind Craig Cooper is Manjunath from Bangalore. Behind Carmen is Nasser Abbas from Sydney. And then behind, sort of behind Mateusz is you and Rodrigo. So Rodrigo from Mexico City, so you're up there in the white shirt. And then way in back, we've got Shyam on the right side interviewing, and he's from Bangalore, interviewing Kuba from Krakow. So, and there's you with Rodrigo, getting along, two real nice guys, having a nice conversation. I remember you pulled out your phone at one point and you're showing them pictures. That's real cool. Now, we had this fun event that I promised during this very intense, approximately 12-day period. We had like 2 full weeks plus a full weekend where we're working. And that fun event turned out to be, everybody gets a chance to drive Red, my 1969 Beetle. And this is a good portion of your cohort. There are 4 people missing. You're one of them. I'm not sure where the 2 people from RTP, that's you and Chris, and then the 2 people from Mexico City, that's Rodrigo and Carmen, were somewhere else. I think you guys had your shot at driving the Beetle, so now this is the next batch. But there's Red, and then I have evidence that you drove Red, because here's you pulling out of the parking lot, and Carmen is there to your right. She's in the passenger side. And then you're buzzing down the streets of San Jose. I think you're probably on North 1st Street, cruising along. So got evidence of you driving Red. That was kind of cool. Now, time passed, and just a month later, we go from August 2016 to September 2016. Now you're doing your checkout teach for EBT to earn your EBT co-trainer certification. So you and Chris Meyer were doing that. And here you are, you got the smart screen behind you, and you're doing physical tour guiding to direct people's attention to what's on the screen, logical tour guiding. you're in front of the group using gestures, and just look at that group. You can see they're all very engaged. Again, like consistent with your KT checkout teach, you're just killing it. And if you look, you can see Chris back there, way back by those monitors. So you can tell he's looking at his material, getting ready to teach whatever section comes next for him. And I'm back there doing kind of the administration and assessment of your checkout. And then the class, you can just tell they're paying full attention to you. And here you're doing a little coaching during the practical activity, one of the practical activities for EBT. And look at the faces on these guys. They're looking at you like you're an expert, like you're an authority in the subject matter, which you are and were. You'd studied very, very hard, so you're providing real value, and they could tell you knew what you're talking about. Now this is the end, the final day of that 3-day workshop, that checkout teach. And this is when I'm sharing with a group and revealing to them, hey folks, you might not know this, but this is the first time OHM has ever taught this class. And they were blown away. They were convinced that you'd taught this class before. So again, much like what happened when you taught KT in Bangalore during your checkout teach, you just nailed it and you were prepared. So your hard work paid off. And this speaks to so many of the things I've seen with you, OHM. You set a goal for yourself, you persevere, you work hard, you accomplish the goal, then you move on to the next one. And very few people have such diligence and perseverance and kind of goal orientation as you. So that's really awesome. Now, I was in RTP not too long ago in late 2017, and you really helped out because I had a back injury and it was really hard to stand for extended periods of time in front of the room. So it was really helpful to have you come to the class and help co-teach with me. So thank you for doing that. And then here's you teaching. There's the class, paying attention to you. Here's you doing a debrief with them. Again, doing really, really good job. Your hard work's paying off. Well, that takes us to the end of the photos that I have that I thought would have some relevance to kind of take us down memory lane over these last 8 years since we've known each other. And so we've been reflecting back, and maybe OHM today is kind of a good day to reflect back on the many accomplishments that you've had over your life since even before I met you, the hurdles that you've overcome, the perseverance that's paid off for you. And in addition to looking in the past, I also suggest just take some time to just savor today and all the blessings that you have, all the riches of many kinds that you have, and riches come in many forms. They're circumstantial riches, the riches of your family, the love and the people in your life, and the certain other more tangible riches that a person commonly thinks of. But just savor what you've created, you and Priya have created together to this point in your life. And also think ahead to what an awesome future that is set out before you. When I think about what you've accomplished over these last 8+ years that I've known you, that's more than a lot of people do in their entire lives. And you've done so not just with this hard, some people have this hardcore goal of accomplishing a lot. You've got this wonderful blend of you're goal-oriented, but you've got heart. And you're a very kind-hearted person, so you just wrap everything you do in this wonderful spirit and soul that you've got. And you're very genuine, you're very authentic and very sincere. OHM, you're a person that I know I can trust. You're a person of integrity. OHM, you've got traits that are very hard to find in people. So I admire you for your traits. I respect you, and I appreciate you. And I'm really grateful to consider you one of my very, very closest friends. And I look forward to knowing you for many years. So when you think about all that you've accomplished so far, and I imagine what does the future hold for you, I can only imagine it's more awesome stuff. And of course, you and I know, and Priya knows, that you've been putting the pieces in place for a very abundant financial future. And 2008 and 2009 look like they're going to shape up to be really good for you all. So that's really exciting, and certain dreams do come true, and this could be yet another one of them. So, I'm just, again, very grateful to consider you a close friend, and I hope that this video it helps enrich in your birthday just a little bit more. I hope the duration was not so long that you ran out of your water and snacks. And I hope you find it's worth maybe more than one viewing. With that, I wish you a very, very happy birthday, and I look forward to the next time we see each other. In the meantime, I'll just sign off and hope you have a great day. So long for now.